Hello everyone, welcome back. This is another live video of this YouTube channel, almost the 19th, if I'm not wrong, or the 20th live video of this YouTube channel. And today is yet another day whereby we are going to talk about something interesting. And today we are not going to talk about romantic relationships. Today I've decided to pick another topic whereby we're going to talk about something meaningful to younger people who are on their early 20s as usual. So for those that are going to watch offline, maybe it's not live, you have not tuned in to live, subscribe so that you do not miss. So if you're watching it offline, I will still appreciate if you share your opinion on today's topic, which is why you're not alone when you hate politics. We are so many people out here who hate politics, and I'm one of them. I don't like politics. To be sincere, I don't like politics. Politics is a dirty game. Politics, is all about negativity. Politics is all about fight, hate. Every bad stuff out there is politics. But there's a good side of politics, but mainly, politics is dirty. I don't like politics. Yeah, so for those who don't know me, my name is Vick Hason. This is Vick Hason Talks, whereby we normally talk about interesting topics. We normally talk about, for the past views that we have had, we've talked about romantic relationship, things that happen in romantic relationship, whether it is dating, whether it is having a crush, whether it is dealing with your ex, and also we on the videos whereby you can just go click and watch, we've talked about life in university or colleges, or every kind of situation it is being solved there on my videos. And then we have other YouTube channels, which is Vick Hason, whereby we normally do comics with comedy, skits, short films, because I come from a background of film making, film production. And then on the other side, we have Pop Show KE, whereby we normally do journalism work, we do entertainment shows, we do podcasting, everything that is journalistic and entertaining, we do there on Pop Show KE. But on Vick Hason Talks, today we have an interesting topic about politics. I don't like politics, I hate politics, but I'm going to now to give you 5 good reasons why you are not alone when you hate politics, because not everyone loves politics. It doesn't matter which country you're from, which country you were raised, or maybe which country every country in this entire world, except a few, which are from the Arab states, every country you will find almost 99% of people, they hate politics. And I'm a Gen Z, so let me give you good reasons why as a Gen Z, I hate politics. And it is not only Gen Zs, I know even older people who are millennials, maybe baby boomers, they hate politics, even though politics are the driving energy of a country, but I still hate politics. So for those that are still joining, please just say hi, and make sure you like, subscribe, so that you do not miss the next time we are going live. But thank you so much for tuning in. You can just share the live to other people also to watch. It will be interesting. It will be so much fun if we are all here as young people, talking about meaningful topics, especially today, because, for example, for me right now, I'm in Kenya. If I have an audience who is not a Kenyan, I'm in Kenya, and politics here in Kenya, it's so dirty. I don't like politics, and a lot of people don't like politics. That's why you have seen Gen Zs protesting here in Kenya. Gen Zs are all over the place. Some of them are being abducted when they try to practice the freedom of speech. So politics is so that you cannot talk about a politician even when they're doing something wrong. So for me, I'm not going to talk about any kind of politician, I'm just going to focus on why I hate politics. I will also like for you also to share if you hate politics like me, or maybe share some of the reasons why you don't like politics, you know. So just say hi for those that are still joining, I'll appreciate to have a chat with you because I'm going to share my points based on me. So my points are subjective. I don't know about you. So we have 5 reasons. I have 5 good reasons why I hate politics. I don't know about you. I don't know how many reasons you have, but please, you know, feel free to agree with some of my points. Feel free to disagree with some of my points. Feel free to add anything that you think might be helpful or meaningful to other people that are going to watch this live. I will give a shout out. I will mention the name if you want to, and we can move on like that. So, what? Tekla said hi. Hi, Tekla. I don't know if that is your name because it is a handle. Maybe it is a shortened version of your name. But hi. So I have 5 good reasons why I hate politics. So today we are going live for 30 to 40 minutes because it is an open ground. I'm expecting, other people to share their views on politics. I'm young. I don't know most about politics, but I know I hate politics. I don't like politics. So I have good reasons, 5 good reasons. I have simplified them down, and I'm going to share with you why I hate politics. So right now, the current situation right now here in Kenya about politics is we have 2 strong opposition parties, you know, who so the first one is the presidential party, which is right now it is in the government, it is governing the country. And then we have another political party, which is now the opposition side of the party, which fights the government. So coming next year, 2027, we are going to have elections, presidential election. It is a big deal. It normally comes every 5 years. So a president here in Kenya normally stays for 5 years. Mtoto Mpole. Mtoto Mpole says hi. Niaje Mtoto Mpole. So yeah. So coming next year, we are going to have another president. And that's why right now in 2026, it is lit. Everything it is on fire here in Kenya. And I, as a Gen Z, it will be my first time practicing my voting right. It will be my first time voting as a voter here in Kenya. And because I don't like politics, does not mean I will not vote. I will still vote, but I just hate the theory, the being of politics. So the number one reason is constant fighting. Constant fighting. The previous year, which was on 2022, when we elected the current president, again there was two strong political parties, which was, I don't want to mention the name, which was, two strong political parties, and it was constant fighting. We almost even had violence here in our country, because of two political parties. So they were competing for a presidential seat. So what happened is, of course, one political party wins the presidential seat, and the opposition political party needs now to disappear because they have been defeated. But what we didn't expect, after all those constant fighting, making people to have different views, making people to hate each other, at the end, the other opposition political party ended up joining this presidential political party, which won, this party that won the presidential seat. After all those fight, after all those hate that we had as the normal citizen here in our country, it affected so many people. Many people lost their lives, but the two political parties ended up being a team. So you see, I hate politics. Why do you trash talk and push your agendas about each other, and then at the end you're just playing the citizens, you're just playing other people. So it is for your own benefit. I think that is the baseline of politics. Many politicians, they're doing it for their own benefit. They are not there to serve anyone, especially in third world countries like here in Kenya. Kenya is a third world country, so there's expect corruption. Yeah. So you cannot say there is no corruption here in Kenya. There's so much corruption. We are trying, the government is saying that it is trying to eliminate corruption, but many people say the government, they are the one who are the most corrupt. The government is the one that is the most corrupt. And they are the one that's saying that they are trying to eliminate corruption in our country. So the number one reason why I hate politics is constant fighting. Right now we are having a fight between the opposition leader, the opposition political party, and the current political party, which is now on the presidential seat. So they are fighting, they're trash talking, they make people have different views, they are trying to push their agendas, why we need to hate other type of people, why we need to hate the government, why we need to hate this opposition political party. It is so bad, for especially for countries that have multi-party systems. Countries that have more than one party that competes for a presidential seat. For example, in the United States, they only have two political parties, and I guess it is more peaceful if we have two compared to having different political parties, because there's so much agendas being pushed for people to hate each other. So in the US, they have independent, they have what? Democratic, and I don't know the other one. And then, for example, in China, they have one party system, but under that one party system, they have small other parties, but that instead of fighting the government, the one that is on the seat, they advise. So that is more peaceful, even though it is not peaceful, because there are some other groups below that normally fights on which decisions should be taken to serve the country well, But at the end, they need to elect one person to govern the country. So it is more peaceful outwardly. So there are not agendas being pushed for people to hate each other. But here in Kenya, I hate politics because people push their agendas. People are corrupt. Politicians are so sweet talkers. When they are campaigning to win a presidential seat, they speak well, they speak sweet words, they enter you into a box, they make you hate this kind of group of people. They try to feed you what you think it is right. But when they enter into that political seat, that presidential seat, you start regretting. For example, right now in the US, they regret why they elected Trump as the president. Here in Kenya, we regret why we elected President Ruto as the president, as a Gen Z, because the things that he has done, because recently we had the Gen Z protest, where we lost so many Gen Zs in the protest, which was considered a peaceful protest, but it ended up being violent. So constant fighting, that is my first reason why I hate politics. I love peace, but if politicians are going to campaign peacefully, then that is meaningful. But if they're just going to campaign by trash talking, which is the basis of politics, for politicians to campaign, to trash talk others, to push their agendas, the wrong agendas, to make us hate each other. I just hate politics. I'm going to vote, but I hate politics. That is my first reason. I have 5, so that is my first. I don't know about you. For the ones that are still joining, please say, share your point, whether you hate politics or you love politics. So point number 2, reason number 2 why I hate politics is broken promises. How many times have you? How many times are the elected leaders keep their promises? Even so, most of them, they campaign with their agendas, and then when they are being elected, the promises that they had promised, they broke them. They do not fulfill them. That is when they were campaigning. And then we have some politicians, for example, in Kenya, they are already on the seat that they were campaigning for. So they have won the election. So when they are still on the seat, they promise. They give us certain promises that makes us happy. But still, when they are on their term of serving people, still they broke their promise. They do not fulfill their promises. And me with my vote, sometimes you feel like, my vote is useless, my vote is meaningful, like my vote cannot make a change. But if all of us have that one idea that my vote is useless, then we are not going to have any votes because no one will vote. But sometimes it feels like our vote serves other people better than us who really need the help as young people. For instance, in a very corrupt country, you will feel that your vote is useless because every time when there have been elections, you still, even when the leader has been elected, you still hear people complaining that the leader was bad. The government did not serve me well. And then now it happens to you. You voted as a young person. You waited for the term of that president to end, of the leaders that you elected. Not even just the president, the leaders that you elected here around, and they do not keep their promises, so you feel like you're not served. Again, that is a broken promise, and it makes you feel like my vote is useless, so my vote is just serving other people. So reason number 2 why I hate politics is broken promises. Reason number 1 was constant fighting. I don't know about you, so thank you so much for those that are still joining. Just say hi and subscribe, like, share, comment, so that you do not miss the next time when we are going live. So point number 3 is feeling ignored. So feeling ignored is the same as broken promises, whereby you feel like the politician is serving other people more than the people that elected him or elected her. Or maybe a certain group of people are being ignored by a politician who is on the seat, who's supposed to serve the people. So when you feel ignored and you thought that my vote was going to make a change, it will make you to feel like I'm not going to vote anymore, because maybe it is not the first time, maybe it is not the second time, or maybe it is your first time and you don't like politics, and it happened like that. Someone that you trusted so much ended up ignoring the people that is supposed to serve, or maybe maybe just breaking the promises. Yeah, that's why I hate politics. When you feel ignored, you feel like you're not served. Maybe they just squander the money that is supposed to serve the people. I don't know how you can get a good politician, unless there's this notion that is going on right now that when you elect a celebrity or maybe an influencer, someone that has been on the public eye for a very long time, you know, because most of the influencers, most of the celebrities, they well, they behave they behave in a way that you can see that they are there because of their audience. So most of the time they do everything to serve their audience, because without the audience they cannot become a celebrity. Without their audience they cannot become an influencer. So they are so much dedicated to serve their audience. They do everything. They are so nice in the eyes of the public, because again, if you appear bad, Gen Zs, there is this thing that is known as being cancelled. So Gen Zs might cancel you. So when you elect a celebrity or an influencer as 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 a politician, maybe they are vying for a governor, a member of parliament, a senator, even if it is a presidential seat, there's this notion that it is okay to vote for such kind of person, because they have your trust. You have seen them, you have seen how they behave, you've seen them how they keep their words, you've seen how they they navigate around their activities. So they are more trustable, compared to a politician who disappears for 5 years and then comes back after the 5 years and then starts again to campaign, and then giving you money during the campaigns. And then when they are being elected, they disappear again. Then you come to see them again after their time is it is almost complete. So for me, do I prefer electing an influencer or a politician for a political seat? I, as a Gen Z, I think that is a good thing. I think so. Electing a politician, electing an influencer or a celebrity, you know, I think that is good, because I believe they're the ones who share every kind of moment with their audience, their people. That is point number 3. Point number 4 is politics is too negative. I've not talked anything about. I've not so far on this live. I've not talked anything positive about politics. Politics is all negative. If it is not spreading hate, if it's not making people fight, if it's not about corruption, if it's not about serving a group of people, it is nothing else. Politics is all that. Politics, it is all that. Yeah, I hate politics because of that. I don't know about you. I've been talking and I've not seen people, sharing their view also. Please share your view if you really hate politics like me, you know, or what is your view on politics, or what do you think about politics, or what do you think politics will serve you, or do you contradict with my points, or do you agree with some of them, Just share your view in the comment section. I'll be happy to engage with you. So point number 5 is too much drama. Too much drama. So I know all of us know what do we call them? What do we call reality TV shows? Yeah, so reality TV shows, they're always good, but the politics, it is a reality TV show that is so negative, that is so bad. It is a bad reality TV show, politics, if we can put that on that category. Because I know, politics has a lot of drama. For example, right now here in Kenya, we have a drama on these two political parties, the presidential political party and the opposition political party. So they have been fighting each other, because next year it is election. We are electing a new president. So there's this opposition political party that fights the government, the party that is now governing our country. So there's been too much drama whereby they were doing trash talking. They too much drama. It was like a comedy show. It is serious, but it is like a comedy show. Even they want to take each other to a court. whereby I don't know how to call it in English, but in Kiswahili it is called mchongo wanu. Like I say something true about you, something that you don't want the public to have a conversation about, and then it ends up, and then it is a real funny thing, that it can make you, it can make you feel like bullied. Yeah, it can make you feel bullied, but it's funny. Politics has too much drama. It's kind of entertaining, but I don't like it. I don't like it because the purpose of politics is to serve. It is to serve the people. Why, for instance, why do people really want to vie for a seat to serve people? We know it is so stressful. Like you can't sleep. You need to hear everyone. You need to fight other people who might that are always fighting you, but still you want that seat. Even if we look in salary terms, like how much money you're being paid to be an MCA, to be a senator, a governor, it is a money that somebody else, it is he or she is making on a business, but still you want to rule other people. I've had this thing whereby you see all these people that want to be a president or want to be a leader. It is because they have done everything. They have everything they want in this world. For example, they can travel everywhere. They have generational wealth whereby their children's will not suffer. Their businesses are doing well. They they have everything. So what is it that it is has remained for them to feel like they are living? And that thing is to be a leader. That's why they vie for presidential seats. They vie for any kind of political seat that they want. They just want to rule people. They want to control people. That's after they have gained everything they want in this world. I don't know about you. So those are my 5 reasons why I hate politics. Thank you for those that are still joining. I would like to hear your view about if you like politics or if you hate politics. I know I'm not alone. I know most people love politics, and also at the same time, most people hate politics. I don't know about you, so please share with me on the chat section. I'll be happy to engage with you all. My chats are open. Just share with me if you hate politics or if you like politics, and give me the reasons. I know you have reasons, so you are not alone. You're not alone when you hate politics. So my number one reason was constant fighting. Politicians always fight. They trash talk each other. Point number two is broken promises. They can't keep their promises. Only for a few. We have a few here in Kenya, so I will not mention the name. Point number three is feeling ignored. That's why I hate politics. You are being ignored because some politicians serve a group of people and they ignore a group of people in their community. Point number four is too negative. Politics is too negative. Most of it is not positive, but if we have a right politician, then they will try to spread politics into people. Point number five is too much drama. Politics has too much drama. Like I've used an example whereby it is a bad reality TV show. You will not want to watch it. You know, you will not want to watch because it spreads a lot of negativity. Yeah, it normally makes people to fight. That is my view about politics as a Gen Z, as a young person, because I think we are entering into an era, because most of the time, most people who normally vote, who had the right to vote, who most of them are our parents, baby boomers, if I'm not wrong, and maybe some millennials. They, for them to elect a leader, they were being lied. The politicians used, here in Kenya, normally when it comes to electing a new presidential seat or maybe electing new leaders. So political leaders here in Kenya, they have 5 terms. They have 1 term, which is 5 years to serve the people, the community that they are serving. So when their time is almost over, sorry, it is almost over, that is when they come out. They give people money, they give people money for them to be elected on their next term, on their second term, or maybe their third term. And you can't do that to a Gen Z. You can't fool a Generation Z with money to elect you as a leader who it is expected to serve the Gen Z people. And that's why we've had Gen Z's protest here in Kenya, whereby we as Gen Zs, we are fed up with lies. We're fed up with lies about, politicians not keeping up their promises. We are fed up with hate, whereby politicians spread hate to young people to fight, separating us into groups, with no good reasons. I know education here in Africa, not education in some parts here in Kenya, it has not reached so many people well. Information, where not education, sorry, information, it has not reached so many people well, whereby it can open their minds to see what it is really happening, so that politicians will not lie to you, because it has been a trend here in Kenya. We trusted politicians who we elected in 2022, and then right now only a few has kept what they were saying, but the majority did what they did with their seats, and there is no progress in the country, maybe in the state, in the community, and they are expecting to be elected on their second term, or maybe some of them were on their third term. They are expecting to be elected back, but it is a dilemma whereby you have a voting right. You need to vote. I'm not campaigning for people not to vote, because we still need to vote. So you have a right to vote, but all the leaders, you don't know who to vote for. The leaders that you think you can vote for, they are new and upcoming. Most of them, they really don't know politics. Most of them, they are just campaigning, but you feel like they don't have enough info. They are young. Most of them, they are young. But the elites, the old people who are expected to govern a country because they have enough experience, they are the most corrupt people. So you don't know who to trust. You don't know if you can vote. Okay, you can vote, but you don't know if you should vote, because voting is your right. If you don't want to vote, it's okay. But for me, I tend to campaign for people to vote. Just practice your voting right, but choose your leaders wisely. We as Gen Zs, we are so woke. I believe so. It is not a bragging thing. We are so woke as Gen Zs. We know the right leaders to elect. The problem is we don't have those right leaders in our country. Most of them, they're just campaigning for the sake of campaigning, so that they can get that seat. They are doing everything, they are exposing other people, but you really don't know them. Even if if you try to look at their history, they have done so many bad, crazy things that you are in doubt, like, if I vote for this person, most people don't change. Most people just cover their behaviors in front of people, and then when they have that opportunity to practice their behavior, now they do it. So you really don't know, because it is a drama. It is a constant drama here in Kenya. Politicians are doing entertainment shows. They are like comedians. They trash talk each other. It has turned to be a stand-up comedy show. Every time when a politician, they are doing a campaign, they're traveling to different places, they are standing on top of their cars, trash. The major thing that a politician does when they're campaigning is to trash talk the other leader. They are not spreading their message. So someone texted or chatted. Leonard says politics is messed up over here, but as it's still one term. I know one term. Yeah, it's supposed to be one term. Even me, I'm campaigning for that. Because how can you serve as you had 5 years, to do your work. Even though many people says a president cannot do their work in 5 years, even Barack Obama, when he was elected as American president, the first term, he didn't say anything. But when the term ended, his first term ended, when he was about to enter his second term, he said that he found the American economy it was so bad that he didn't have enough time to make things happen. So he was given, most people, because they loved him, because not even that, because they loved him because of so many things that happened on the first term. That's why he was elected on his second term. Here in Kenya, our current president, of course, let's start with the positive. He has done some things very well. We really love him for something that he has done. But majorly, it caused major problems. It caused major problems that entered into young people's mind. That's why we have a slogan of one term as a Gen Z. So someone said, okay, Leonard also says, man of culture, many presidents have done a lot of work in just one term. Governors too. That is nonsense talk. It is not nonsense talk. Okay, so the one who said that was who? He was elected also. He is in charge of labor, Ministry of Labor here in Kenya. He is the one who came up with a president cannot do the work in only one term, which is 5 years. That is on that view. But the example that I used of American president was about the economy. But other things, he done it well. Here in Kenya, it is everything. Everything it is done poorly. Everything it is done poorly. So giving someone a second chance, giving someone authority to rule you the second time, and you've seen the behavior of this person for the past 5 years. It is so hard, especially for us people who are Gen Zs, who are Gen Zs here in Kenya have now they are the most with voting IDs. If you compare Gen Zs, young people, and old people in population, Gen Zs are so many. So if all Gen Zs decides to vote on one person, that person is going to win. And our current president has messed up with Gen Zs. So I think it is one term. But the campaign will say a lot. Because here in Kenya, we have a trend whereby a politician does whatever that they want in their the first years when they are in the seat, and then at the end when they are about to finish their term, that's when they come out, they start campaigning, they start keeping promises that just to make you feel happy, just to melt your soul, to melt your heart, for you to be soft, and then they enter into your brain, So, okay, so Leonard says if he hasn't done that he promised in one term, we shouldn't give him another. That is true. Even me, I agree, we should not give him another chance. But the fact is, we have opposition political party. So is this opposition political party safer compared to the party that is in the government? We really don't know, because here in Kenya right now we have two strong political parties. The one it is the one that is right now, it is governing the country. Then the other one, it is the opposition party. So which one is better? We can escape this one and then we go to the worst one, or we can escape this one, which is the worst, and then go to a safer one. So Leonard also added, our biggest problem right now is having a candidate who can rival him. He has done absolutely nothing in 3 years. These 2 years won't change much. So biggest problem right now is having a candidate who can rival him. The opposition party is strong. Is strong that can rival the current party in government. The problem is this opposition party safe? Because us as Gen Z, we both know two of them. If you really dig deep, we both know two of them. They are not safe. They are not safe. They trash talk each other. They try to push their agendas. They try to make the other person look bad. Even before our current president was the president, he did the trash talk. He talked bad about the president that was on that seat. But after we elected him, now we came to know the truth. So right now they do what they normally do. They trash talk. They purify themselves to look nice in front of people. But when they are being elected, it is something else. So, as I said earlier, Gen Zs, we know the right leader to choose, but we don't have that right leader yet. I don't know who he is, and even if there is, they don't have power. They don't have power because we still have other people who are on the other side. So, I'd given you my 5 reasons why I hate politics, but I will still vote. I will still vote as a Kenyan voter. I will practice my right to vote. But us as young people, the takeaway is, us as young people, we are the one now to, we are now the ones to make things right. We are the one now to, because now we are going on that level, we have now the responsibility to create and to make other people good leaders, to elect good leaders to make our country safe. We had a mission whereby we wanted Kenya to be like Singapore, where there is no corrupt. The country was a third world country, but it ended up being a second world or a second world, I think so. So we wanted our country as Kenya to be like Singapore. That was like a mission, So we don't see that with the current leadership that is here in Kenya. The constant fight, the kind of politics that is here in Kenya, I don't think that is like a mission that is achievable. But once we have right leaders, because we as Gen Zs, we know right leader, but we don't see him yet, that's when Kenya will be like Singapore, even more better than Singapore. And that's all for today's live. Thank you so much for those that have engaged. Thank you so much for those that have joined. Thank you so much for those that they have shared their opinion. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Totompole. Thank you, Tekla. Thank you for all of those. Even thank you for you who are watching offline. You missed the live. So subscribe so that you do not miss the next live when we go live again. So thanks so much for watching. For the one that is joining right now, we have had an interesting topic. Please subscribe so that you do not miss the next time when we are going live. We have talked about why you are not alone hating politics. I know most people don't like that kind of conversation. Most people don't want to talk about it. Most people even don't know, they don't have idea that they hate politics. But in deep sense, if we could just have peace, then we should know there should be no conversations about politics. And that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying tuned. Until tomorrow. So today we talked about why I hate politics, and some of you shared their thoughts. Thank you so much for those that shared their thoughts. And tomorrow we might talk another topics. Because I hate politics, I will not be talking about politics because I don't want to talk about politics. I hate politics with my entire life. Maybe one day, I can say that, and then it comes to haunt me back, and I become a political leader. I don't see myself becoming a political leader, but you don't know what the future holds for you. But tomorrow is another day. We can have another topic to talk about. For the one that is still joining, please subscribe so that you do not miss the next time we are going live. Let's build this community. I'll appreciate. Please subscribe, leave a like, share the live, share your comment, share your view. We normally talk about romantic relationship topics. We normally talk about life in the university, and today we've talked about why I hate politics. So the topic was not about politics. It was just why I hate politics. That's all for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, peace. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Bye.